Welcome. So, you're trying to figure out what business to start. Well, you came to the right place because I have been self-employed for 14 years now. I've tried and started and thought of more businesses than I can think of. And there is a lot that I wish I'd known right in the beginning to save me many, many years, many tears, many ups and downs. And you know what? One thing I'll say is the fact that you're here right now looking up a video like this. If you're at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, then this is a really, really good sign because you are beginning with the end in mind. You are thinking further ahead, and I can tell you it took me many years before I started doing that myself. So like most people, I started a random business on a hunch, and I did that for 3 years, and then I started another business and did that for 3 years until I hit another roadblock. And then eventually, after about 6-7 years, I started figuring out how to reverse engineer real problems to solve for people that are actually in alignment with myself. So those businesses that I started since then, about 6-7 years ago, they're all still going. I'm still starting new businesses now, and it only gets better from here. So let's jump right in because I want to teach you a few principles and a few things to think about right at the start so that you can hit a hole in one, at least you can exponentially increase your chances of. So, how to know which business to start, and not just any business, but in a business that you'll actually enjoy and that because you're enjoying it, you will also succeed in. Now, most businesses fail within the first 5 years. Most businesses suck the life out of you if you're the founder. Most businesses barely break even, okay? They have real trouble actually getting enough revenue in the door to grow, to hire people, to also provide the kind of lifestyle that the founder wants to make. Now, 50 to 80% of the world's population, I know that's a very broad range, but it is the entire world. Most people don't like their careers. They don't like the businesses they start. They don't like the jobs that they're in. They're in the wrong position. And it's because we lack a lot of self-awareness on this planet. We are not very well attuned to understanding our own strengths and weaknesses effectively. And we look at what everybody else is doing, and there's another trend, and this person told me I should do X, Y, and Z, and then we just follow that, and we end up kind of in the dark and off the path that was actually, going to take us to the life that we truly desire. This obviously sucks because we spend most of our life working. Most people spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week at their job, and even when they're not at their job, they're still thinking about their job. Now, if what you're thinking about and working at all the time is actually something that doesn't truly light you up, that truly solves a problem, that's truly making you better and is getting better with time, then that's a pretty shitty situation. So the question is work just hard? Like, why is it that so many people are not enjoying this journey and are struggling through this and are experiencing so much failure? Is it just because work sucks and it's hard? But then why is it that some people don't have this experience? Why are there some people who are living their bliss, for whom work doesn't really feel like work most of the time, and who are enjoying exponential gains? I believe it's because they are in alignment. They have found something that is truly valuable to the world and to people, and that is in alignment with their own dharma, with their own purpose in this life. They've figured it out, whether that is by chance or intuition or through using some of the stuff that I'm going to teach you in a moment. It's those people who've managed to get most of the pieces in the right place that get to enjoy this state of flow, essentially. Now, what I want to point out is that, as Socrates said, the unexamined life is a life not worth living. We are not very aware on this planet. I know most of us like to think we are, but if you really ask people what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, they're not, most of us are quite in the dark. We will have to ask other people that are close to us certain questions, and then they'll give some answers because they'll often know us better than we know ourselves because we have blind spots. And the thing to realize is that we have this conscious part of our mind, that little voice inside the head, but that is really kind of like a mouse that's sitting on top of an elephant, right? Most of the other stuff that's going on, the stuff that's keeping us alive, the subconscious mind, the unconscious part of our mind is the greater whole. And in there, in this primal programming deep down, you will find all these traits and attributes that will be the determining factor in whether or not you will enjoy the business that you start. Because there are certain inborn, early life-shaped tendencies that, are quite complex. And it's very difficult to know this yourself because obviously you're looking out of your own, meat puppet here. But to know this unconscious part, this subconscious part of yourself, that will allow us to really figure out what business model and what type of work and what kind of pursuits are most in alignment for you, so that you can then follow, that thread rather than whatever the hottest topic on TikTok is at the moment. So the idea is to know yourself. You need to know yourself. That's how we get into alignment, so that you don't waste multiple years barking up the wrong tree and wondering why your business isn't really successful, and wondering why after 18 months you wake up in the morning and you're like, God, I hate my work, what have I done? So in order for us not to have that happen, for you not to have that happen, you need to understand your values, your beliefs, your strengths, your fundamental operating system that is inside of your consciousness. Because we all are very unique on the one hand, but there are patterns that you can work out. Now, when you are living out of alignment with those things, then you're going to experience burnout. Okay, burnout doesn't just come from working too hard, because, think of something that you enjoy doing, whether it's playing video games or something. Good, if you enjoy playing video games, good luck getting burnt out playing video games, right? It's probably not going to happen, or it will take you a long ass time to get there, because you enjoy it, because it's something that you're good at. It's something that you like spending your time on. It's something that you see some kind of value in. Now, when that's out, that's when there's all this friction and you're just grinding it, and this hustle culture thing. Hustle is one thing, but hustling on something that is actually out of alignment with yourself will then lead to mental health problems, nervous system problems, burnout, and then that equals your business eventually failing. So let's not let that happen, right? So what do most people do when they start a business? They start by asking themselves, what business should I start? They try to copy other people's successes, thinking that it will work for them. They just start building without really evaluating and going deep like we are right now. Most people have an idea of, there's this romantic concept from a Kevin Costner movie called Field of Dreams, which is, if we build it, they will come. The problem is they won't come, okay? If you build a random restaurant in the wrong part of town, you're gonna have another failed business on your hand. If you are starting a business where you're just focusing on what you're doing, or you're just talking about yourself and thinking about yourself, it's not gonna resonate. You will have to close your doors, okay? The other thing is analysis paralysis. Most people we are bombarded by so many different options, and new options are appearing all the time. TikTok shop this, or sell PDFs on Pinterest there. I get it, I've been there myself. And most people go a mile wide and an inch deep. They try to start many little fires, or they try to speak to everyone. And these are the most common mistakes, because when you do business like that, which makes sense to your mind, it's the most basic way to start, right? Like, throw a rock at a crowd, you will hit someone who thinks that this is how you start a business, right? But this isn't really what makes a successful business. When you do this is like playing Russian roulette. For some people it'll work. They'll, 1,000 monkeys typing on 1,000 typewriters will eventually write the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? There is chance, but we don't want to work with chance. We want to get it right away, because life is finite. Your energy is also finite somewhat in this life. You have the most energy when you're younger. Let's make the most of it. Let's get it right early on. So let me save you 10 years the 10 dark years, ideally. Let me save you starting 3, 4 businesses and 10,000 tears along the way. And let's just skip to the good part. Okay, so what do we need to know to start a business that is actually in alignment with us? I believe that there are 3 steps. Number 1 is you need to know who you are. And I mean who you really are, okay? Not just your name or your gender or your age or some title, but I mean, what are your values? What are your beliefs? What is your fundamental programming? What were you born with? What is your genius? Okay, so all those layers. When you understand those, we then need to move on to understanding what people actually want, right? What is it that people, what are the greatest challenges that people have? And what are the reasons why people make buying decisions? Because at the end of the day, you want to have a financially successful business, right? This isn't just a charity that you're starting, I'm assuming. So you need to understand what people put value on and what are the real problems that people are trying to solve, not just the problems that they're saying, you know, at the top of their head. Because if you're trying to sell products at face value, then you're just doing what everyone is doing in the market, which means it's not going to be very successful. So you need to understand who you are. You need to understand the people you're trying to become the other half of your business, right? Your customers. And then from knowing that, you can then figure out what business model, what industry, what setup, what products and services are actually in alignment between those two. Because if you are an extrovert and you decide to start a business where you're just sitting writing emails from home all day long, you're not going to feel very fulfilled. And if you are an introvert and you decide to start a cafe where you have to talk to people all day long, then every morning when you get to work, you will dread people coming into your business, and therefore you will be out of alignment and you're going to be anti-manifesting customers walking into your store. Those are just a couple examples, but we're going to go much deeper in a moment into those aspects. So first of all, who are you really begins with the conscious part, the parts that you actually know about yourself that you could think about quite easily. And so to figure out who you consciously are and what your inclinations are, what your preferences are, we can use the Japanese system called Ikigai, which roughly translates to your reason for being. It is your life's purpose, okay? And it looks like this. There are 4 different dimensions that you can ask yourself one by one to figure out and then see where they all overlap. Now, you have to think about what it is that you love. What do you love doing? You know, is it talking, teaching, making stuff, hanging out with people, baking, whatever it is? What are you good at? Are there natural gifts that you have? Are there certain skills that you've acquired? What does the world need? And this is where you need to understand people and customers and deep longings and desires and pains and whatnot. So what does the world need? And then what can you get paid for, right? Now, if you have just 3 of them, because most people will have 2 or 3. So for instance, if you have something that you're good at and you can get paid for it, then that's your profession, right? That's your basic job. People don't really love it. Most people, you know, if you really ask yourself, do people really need this? You know, do they need another bucket of KFC chicken? Probably not. Okay, so if you said, okay, I'm really good at this and I love this, then that's your passion. But maybe you can't get paid for that. And maybe the world doesn't really need that either. If there's something that you love and the world needs it, that's your mission. That's a mission. But you don't want to necessarily be another broke martyr, right? Like you want to, you know, impact in this world is easier if you have access to money. So if you can find a way to create something valuable that people will be willing to part some of their money with, that's obviously going to be a lot better. Now, for instance though, if you find something that you love, that the world needs, and that you can get paid for, right? Then you would end up in this zone, number 2. That's a pretty solid choice, but because you're not really good at it, you're going to have a feeling of uncertainty. You're not in your zone of genius. You're enjoying it, the world really needs it, and you're getting paid really well, but there's always this looming sense of like, is this actually going to last? So you can see, you can have 3 of these, which for instance, if you're really good at it, you love it, and the world needs it, then you're going to be very fulfilling, but you're going to have financial hardship. You know, this is your super talented yoga teacher in Ubud who can't really pay for much, and you know, that's not enjoyable, but they're great at their work. They love the job. The world definitely needs more of it, but they haven't quite figured out how to unlock the financial piece. Now, if you are really good at it and the world really needs it and you get paid for it as well, but it's not something that you love, then that's really good. Don't get me wrong. That's already better than most people, but you're going to start feeling a sense of emptiness. You're going to feel like, you know, if you do that for 30, 40 years, you may wake up one day and be like, you know, did I really do everything in this life? Did I really get there? You know, you might have regrets on your deathbed, and we don't want that. Most people have regrets. Don't be one of those. Don't be one of most people, okay? So this is where you need to ask yourself, is there something you can already spot where all four of these pieces come together? See, if I ask myself, for instance, sitting here right now talking to you, I love teaching people stuff. If you tell me that you're interested in starting a business, I will sit with you for hours on a park bench and try to big you up and tell you every little thing that I learned along the way. And time disappears while I do that. I don't need to be paid for it either. Like, I just do this spontaneously because I love it. I'm also very good at it. People tell me that they walk away from conversations with me and they're like, oh my God, I feel so pumped up. I feel like I can finally do it. Can I get paid for it? Yes, I have gotten paid for it many times. And I'm creating new ways to be paid for it because I realize this is something that's super, super valuable for people, and it's effortless and I'm really good at it. And does the world need it? Hell yeah, it does. Because so many of us have amazing ideas and businesses within us, but we're not allowing ourselves to express them until someone comes along and gives us permission, or at least reminds us that we have to give ourselves that permission, right? So for me, teaching people about how to start an entrepreneurial venture, that's right in the middle for me. So that's a great thing, which is why I made this video, okay? Now, this is the conscious part. This is the stuff that you can figure out just by thinking it through piece by piece. So I definitely recommend do this and write the notes. Write notes and keep them somewhere because this is going to come in handy at the end. Okay, now, you need to understand not just what you can mentally draw from right now, but you need to understand your deep down operating system, okay? And this is influenced by genetics. This is influenced by something you overheard when you were 4 years old, okay? This is stuff that you can't necessarily access just by sitting here thinking about it. It would take a long, long time, but you want to figure out what are your baseline programs that are running inside of your consciousness, inside of your body and mind. And the thing here is that we are all unique. You know, we're all made of billions of different cells interacting with each other. Like we all, you know, we're all that one sperm cell out of 300 million that made it. So you won the lottery, you are extremely unique, but look at nature and you will realize nature uses patterns, okay? Everywhere, the Fibonacci spiral, you know, flowers, galaxies, whatnot, there are patterns, okay? And those patterns also exist in our fundamental programs that we run as human beings, how we operate, the beliefs, the ways we interact with reality, okay? And so what I encourage you to do past your Ikigai exercise is to stand on the shoulders of giants, meaning the psychotherapists, the people who went super, super deep on the mind, on the psyche, on the shadow and all those things, because there is an entire plethora of psychometric tests that exist that some people have a little bit of a weird feeling towards because they don't want to be put in a box, but I encourage you, don't be one of those people, okay? These are also commonly known as personality tests. So a lot of these tests have been around for a long time. Some of them are literally channeled, okay? So people had them downloaded into their mind from some extra dimensional entity, all right? Some of them are based on ancient systems such as the I Ching, which is like a Chinese astrological calendar from 3,500 years ago that is extremely precise, okay? There is a bunch of these. Carl Jung, his one of the psychotherapy like godfathers, along with Sigmund Freud. Based on Carl Jung's work, there is a personality test that's probably the most popular one in the world. It's called the Myers-Briggs personality test. You can do it at 16personalities.com. I'll put some links down in the description for you. But this is a free test that you can do where you have about 60 or 70 multiple choice questions. They'll just be like statements that you then strongly agree with, or like kind of agree with, or you're neutral on, or you sort of disagree, or you very much disagree. And you do this 60 or 70 times. So it'll be something like, you know, I'm the life of the party, strongly agree, okay? I like a structured work day, strongly disagree, right? So you answer all of these, and then it keeps score in the back end of which of the 16 different personality profiles that exist that you fit into. Now, basically the Myers-Briggs is a very interesting one because it works off 4 different dimensions. The first one is how you gain or receive, how you receive energy, how you grow and replenish your energy, right? Because some people will get energy from other people. They go out, they talk to people, and they feel like their cup is filling up. Whereas other people do that and they feel like their cup is getting emptier and emptier, and they recharge in solitude. Now that is an extrovert versus an introvert. You then also have people who are extremely open-minded to new concepts. And you know, these are your philosophers, your creatives, your creative writers, things like that. Whereas you also have a large portion of the population who are more logical and systematic, and they like to be grounded in the earth, you know, in reality. So they're not going to be thinking of wild out there kind of theories. This is called being either intuitive or being a sensor. So these are 2 different dimensions. Then there's thinking versus feeling. I'm, for instance, a feeler, so I naturally know what to say to people. I really feel for them. I can anticipate people's emotions even before they have to express them. And then the final piece is whether you are perceiving or judging, which is how you like to work. Do you like to have an open schedule? Are you fine being in a disorganized space? You know, do you prefer to book travel plans last minute? Whereas someone who's high on judging, for instance, would be someone who really likes everything to be organized. You know, everything's very structured. They need to know what's happening when. Now, where you sit on all 4 of those dimensions determines what type of business model is more suited to you, okay? Because if you like being spontaneous and you like coming up with big ideas, and you lose energy when you're around people, well then maybe you're like a mad scientist type who likes sitting at home and thinking up new inventions or something alone, you know? Whereas for me, I'm extroverted. I like talking to people. I need to talk to people. So for instance, coaching is pretty good. Now, if I need to think on my toes while I'm coaching, so I need to be very open, so then I'm going to be on the intuitive aspect. Also, I need to be able to connect with the person I'm talking to, like you right now. So that means being high on feeling is very good for me. So now, if I got a job as an accountant, for instance, I would be absolutely miserable. If it was me, numbers, and alone, you know, fuck that. But here's the thing. There isn't just one personality test, and I highly recommend that you do a number of them, and then you get your scores. Each one of them has a different scoring system. Get your results, okay? Keep them, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put your conscious understanding of yourself and what you like and what you love and what you think the world wants, along with your actual test results. And this is where we combine that and we put it into artificial intelligence, okay? Because we now have access to these incredible AI chatbots, and what they're able to do, ones like ChatGPT and Claude, is they can help you understand yourself on such a deep level, but in a very subjective way. Because when you think about it, if this was 10 years ago and you had, you know, finally got these multiple test results So like, wow, look how deep that is. You know, here's my literal user manual for how my mind works. And trust me, I know me talking about this is one thing right now. When you've done some of these tests, okay, and you look at what it says about you, you'll be convinced. You'll read it and you'll be like, holy crap, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, I've never even said that to anyone. I never even realized that about myself, but that all rings true. Now, when you combine multiple of those and give them over to the deep learning AI model, because it knows how all of those tests interact, and then you can aim it at certain questions. You can ask it literally, you know, what are the best types of businesses for me? What jobs would I thrive in? What should my workday look like? You know, how would I hire, what sort of person should I hire to help me with this? And then it will be like, well, since you like this, and you are like that, and you are not good at this, you should find someone who is like that. And it can even give you their test results so that you can then reverse engineer finding business partners, finding staff, finding certain types of clients who you're going to love working with, who are going to complement your strengths and your weaknesses, and who will be a joy for you to work with. So all I can say is, when you combine your Ikigai, all right, and this, like I said, do your homework, figure out that stuff, then do some of those tests, okay? Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, Strengthfinder, DISC, Big Five. I usually do Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, and then I also do human design. And then I give those 3 scores over to ChatGPT or Claude, for instance, and then ask it questions. You know, what industries would be most advantageous for me to explore? This is going to give you so much more clarity. I recently did a test because, you know, I've been self-employed for 14 years, so I've had the luxury of waking up every day and doing whatever the hell I want. And therefore, when I get a very strong intuitive hunch, I can follow it. So, you know, I meditate a lot, so I am in tune with my body and my mind and my values and my emotions. I can feel when something feels like it's going to be out of alignment or not, right? So I've been following my bliss, my intuition for many, many years now. And recently I put all of my test results in when ChatGPT became available. And I asked it, like, what sort of businesses should I start? You know, give me 10 businesses. You know what was wild? I've started 7 of those businesses. Now, I didn't make all 7 of them successful because I didn't follow through with some of them. But what was wild is that even the other 3 were still businesses I would definitely be very interested in. And it showed me that the power of these tests combined with AI is literally like externalized intuition. So if you're someone who's not fully tapped into your own inclinations, if you're like, I can't get a read on my own, you know, inner voice, use these tools and they're going to bring you so much further. Lastly, I want to tell you briefly about something new that I started recently, which is called Makers Club. So I've started a community for entrepreneurs and founders and coaches and creators, people like myself and hopefully you too, people who want to do great things, who want to also enjoy a great lifestyle. You know, you don't want to sacrifice yourself. You want to build something you're proud of, something you can leave behind, something you're going to enjoy doing, and something that's actually creating real value for people. So I don't think that being on a benevolent mission like that should be a lonely journey, because I know for myself, some of my greatest forward spurts over the last 14 years have usually just come from random conversations with friends at a gathering, sometimes a stranger, a random phone call through, you know, Upwork or something. And sometimes just someone saying something can totally shift your thinking and move you 6 months, 12 months, 5 years forward. And I asked myself, you know, where are these places? So I just decided to create one. So I've created a club. In there, I'm going to be uploading videos just like this one, entire workshops, but far more in depth. And I'm going to be adding a lot of supporting exercises. So in there, for instance, I already made a 1 hour long workshop exactly on this topic, how to figure out the exact business that is in alignment with you. I've also included the prompts that you can use for the AI chatbots. There are also other workshops I've added already, how to write copy that actually converts. Like, holy crap, talk about a forward leap in my entrepreneurial journey when I understood how to write proper copy. And that goes into ads, that goes into social media content, your sales page, emails, everything. So I've put all of that in there already. Next, I'm adding one on how to build a sales page that actually converts. I just added one all about how to use those psychometric tests. I've got a laundry list of more stuff that I'm going to add. I'm also going to be bringing in other mentors to do workshops in there. But the biggest thing is I'm growing a community where ideally when you start your day in the morning, you can go in there and there's going to be eventually hundreds of other entrepreneurs all on the same journey as you, working on their own individual projects. And I think it's going to be a really, really great space. It just began the other day. It's now the start of December 2024, whenever you're watching this. But check it out. I've put a link down below. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can go in there, watch the full masterclass on this topic and anything else. Check it out. Maybe you'd like to stay. Either way, I hope you got some value from this video today. Leave me a comment and a like. And my name is Chris Soul, if you don't know, and I hope to see you in the next one. All right, take care.